He's getting older.
Champagne room.
Oh, hit the full button.
But not wiser.
Everybody has affinity for cock.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show. Glad to be here with you today, Tuesday, the 3rd of June in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014. Welcome one, welcome all to the Lefty Show, episode number 28. I'm your host, Lefty. Hope to put on a great show for all of you here today and every day in the future and every day in the past. Every show of the Lefty Show has been great. Just kidding. Bad. Welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you all for watching, liking, and favoriting on YouTube and helping the channel and thus the show grow. I greatly appreciate it. Appreciation Day for all of you. Every day is Viewer Appreciation Day, all right? Right? I think? Huh? Anyway, welcome, everybody. Thank you to everybody, again, watching, liking, favoriting on YouTube. Thank you to everybody that has been sharing the show. If you've been hitting up your peeps on the Tweeters or the Facebook, and you say, hey, everybody that whatever Facebook does now, however Facebook works nowadays, you say, hey, check out the Lefty Show. This is a cool-ass podcast that I enjoy. Thank you to everybody for doing that, helping the show grow, sharing it with your friends, family, and coworkers. Thank you to everybody that's been donating, helping keep the show afloat. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. Every little bit helps out. I greatly appreciate it. Just I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. There is a link in the description for you. Go ahead and click on that, and you can donate and help out the show. We got a lot of stuff planned for today, for the show today. Had to go to the DMV, which is always something that everybody dreads going to the DMV. It is a universally loathed place. Everybody loathes a trip to the DMV. The Department of Motor Vehicles in whatever state or Commonwealth, if you're from fucking Massachusetts, we're a Commonwealth. Kiss my ass, you're a state. Anyway, it's a loathed place. You don't want to go to the DMV. It's awful. It is an awful place to be. It's just, you see a cast of characters there. You see going to the DMV is like Walmart on steroids. Like you go to Walmart to just observe people that go to Walmart, and I say no, that's low level shit, right? That's undergrad. That's undergrad socioeconomic studying right there. You want to get your postgraduate degree? Go to the fucking DMV and just scope out the people who go there. You get everybody at the DMV because everybody's got to go there. Everybody has to go there, and there's only a few places. It's not like a Walmart where every other block or a Starbucks or wherever where, they're all over the joint. There's only a few. And because of that, you are way more likely to see some crazy-ass people at the DMV. But getting back to my original point, I find it odd that despite being... It is one of those places that again, everybody hates going to the DMV. And it's to the point where every comic, every comedian, at one point in their career has probably had a routine or a bit about going to the DMV. They've all had it. Every single one, whether they're working it now or it's in their vault, every single one of them has had a bit that involves the DMV. They say, hey, I went to the DMV. That was this crazy thing. It's such a universally hated experience that comedians, it's pretty much a universal bit. Like at some point you've got to have one. And what's odd is that despite it being so hated, it's always fucking packed. Now, again, like I said, everybody's got to go. You have to go there. You can't not go there for certain things related to, quote, driving privileges or things of the sort. But it's just odd, the juxtaposition of everybody. When you say, oh, I had to go to the DMV today, nobody's going to say, oh, really? Oh, you got to go to the DMV. That's awesome. I'm glad. I can't wait till I have to go to the DMV. You say, oh, man, I had to go to the DMV today. That's why I was late to work. They say, oh, shit, I'm sorry. Oh, man, that must have sucked. That was probably awful. What was that, 2 hours out of your life? And you'll never get back? Just waiting in line, and then, But it's to that point in terms of, everybody feels bad for you if you have to go to the DMV, and everybody hates going to it. But it's always packed. That juxtaposition of, oh, God, I fucking hate it. But it's fucking packed. And to think about it, everybody in that room, I don't think you would probably see, because some people hate going to like stores. If you don't like seeing the cretins at Walmart, but you can only shop at a Walmart, whether because that's all you can afford or that's the only thing in the area, you may despise going to Walmart. You may despise going to shop at a big box store or anything like that. But you're not going to run into people constantly who hate being there. Everybody you see at Walmart, it's not a given that they hate being there. But when you go to the DMV, every single person you see fucking hates being there. They are all thinking, God fucking damn it, I hate this place. I just want to go. It sucks. It's awful. Why do I have to be here? Why couldn't I do this online? What fucking year is it? Mother of God, why do I have to go to this fucking place? And you see everybody there, like all the customers, all the patrons of the DMV, all hate it as much as you. And everybody working at the DMV seems to hate it as much as you. Everybody just seems at the DMV when you go up to, whatever you're doing, whether you're getting a license, renewing your license, getting a new title, registering your car, paying taxes, whatever, everybody there fucking hates you. You have to open with a joke. You have to get them, like, I try to open with a joke whenever I go. There was one thing I was filling out, and it's like, are you, it was an honest question, like, are you drunk right now? Like, have you consumed alcohol before showing up here at the DMV? And I said, and I pointed it out, and I asked, I'm like, this is an honest question? She said, yeah, we got to ask. I say, well, what if I wrote, I'm fucking plastered right now. I am hammered drunk, trying to get my license renewed. What are you going to do? Are you going to not give me my license because I'm shit-faced? You don't know that I drove here. I got a ride, but I'm fucking hammered. The only way I can enjoy being at the DMV is being 3 sheets to the wind. Are you not going to give me my license now? What is that? And I wonder, has anybody, because that question is there for a reason. That question is there for a liability reason, I'm thinking. And that communicates to me that at some point in the history of the Department of Motor Vehicles, at least in the state of Illinois, at some point that question wasn't there. And there was an iteration where they redid the forms, and there was that question then of, are you drunk right now? Like, do you regularly consume alcohol? And then a separate question of, are you shit-faced and hammered right now? And there was a point where that was added to the list of questions. It probably wasn't always there. And I want to know why. I want to know that story. Maybe this is why I lead a different life than most people, is because I look at that and I think, I want to know that story. I want to know the guy who showed up shit-faced to the DMV to get his driver's license. I was fucking drunk. Woo, DMV, man. All right, let's fucking do it, bro. Puking on the fucking Did he puke on the counter? Like, blah, blah. I puked on a bar once. Oh, God. I just walked away. We were drinking, it was in college, just fruity drinks all night. And, it wasn't the booze that did it. I think it was just the sheer amount of sugar. Just the amount of sugar in the soda drinks, shit alcohol like Burnett's vodka or something mixed with orange soda. Initially tastes fantastic, right? Orange soda and orange flavored vodka or any regular sort of, it tastes amazing. But when you're doing that all night, first of all, your upper lip turns orange. And, good luck hitting any pussy with that, or cock, whatever drives your motor. And when you just consume a sugary drink like that all night, your stomach gets a little upset. And so we're sitting at the corner of a bar. We had posted up, me and my buddies, or my buddies and I, proper grammar. And I just felt it coming. I felt it. I was like, you feel something coming and you try to deny it. You go through a quick stage of denial. You say, no, that's not what that is. This not a, puke. This isn't puke coming. It's not. It's just a weird gas bubble thing. I'm good. I'll be good. I'm good. And then it doesn't go away. You try to burp it up and the burp doesn't make it go away. And you say, fuck, it's fucking real. It's going to happen. God damn it. And I said, this is going to fucking happen. So it was just I gave the bar their orange soda and shitty vodka back. I gave it back to the bar. There was nothing else in my stomach. It's not like, I'd had Mexican that night or something. And I just, I said, this is happening. So I meandered over. I thought, like, as considerate as you can be when you're puking in a bar, I was that considerate. So I meandered over to an empty part of the bar and just yacked on the bar. And I don't know if anybody saw it at the time, but I knew they were going to. And I didn't have the balls to try to continue drinking at that bar because, once you puke up booze, when you're boozing hard and you puke it up, it's called puke and rally. And whatever's in your system or whatever's in your stomach that upset it to the point that you puked, well, it's out now. So, time, back again. You get really shit-faced that way because you forget how much booze has already been, entered into your bloodstream. But I didn't have it was an honest question. I was like, do I have the balls to try to rally this at the same bar and just be like, somebody puked on the bar? Fucking wasn't me. And I was like, no, I think I'm just going to walk away. So I just told my guy, I was like, yeah, I got to go. I'm going to go now. I just walked away. So I puked on bars before. And I've done the equivalent of puking on a counter. And I want to know, did that guy that showed up drunk off of his ass to try to the DMV to try to get his driver's license that necessitated the question of, are you shit-faced right now? I want to know, how did you know he was drunk? Because, the people that work at the DMV, despite being assholes, they're not police officers, right? They're not like, oh man, I suspect you of being under the influence of alcohol. There's got to be something, and the guy, there wasn't the question of, are you drunk right now? It was just, there had to be something that gave him away. Did he try to pee on something? I'm assuming he probably puked on something, and I'm hoping it was the counter. And that was the point where they said, all right, that's it. No more of this. Never again will we allow a drunk person to come into the DMV so that we can service them. No, we will, from now henceforth, we will ask them if they are shit-faced right now. And what do you think they're going to say? Right? If I'm drunk, I'm going to the Department of Motor Vehicles to try to get my driver's license, I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be drunk. There are certain things that you should not be drunk for. You just shouldn't be drunk. Your surgery, going to the DMV, being the bride or the groom at a wedding. Let's see what else. Teaching, probably in class, probably shouldn't be hammered for those things. And when I show up, because you assume, I just want to go into the mindset of the people that ask that question, like in the boardroom, where they were like, all right, we need to deal with this problem. There's too many people showing up hammered to the DMV. Too many people. It's a problem. Got to get it under control. Somebody raised their hand and said, all right, I know how to deal with it. We're going to ask them. We are going to ask them if they're drunk. That's that simple. We're going to ask them if they're drunk. Because if they are, they're going to tell us. And then we'll get them out of there. And then our people won't have to deal with it. Bam. And somebody said, Johnson, that's a genius question. I fucking love it. Put it on there. We're done. Next item. But I don't think they've, did anybody, apparently not, nobody raised their hand and said, well, excuse me. I don't know about anybody here, but when I'm plastered in a situation in which I know I shouldn't be plastered, or that it wouldn't be acceptable, people would look down on me for being drunk in this situation. Because when you're drunk at a bar, well, that's not a big deal, right? Drunk behind the wheel of a car, bad. You shouldn't do that. People, yeah, I'm drunk. I was drunk driving. They were like, what the fuck, man? Don't do that. It's not cool. Oh, yeah, I had the appendectomy earlier today. I, took a couple stiff shots of Jameson before I went in there. Like what? Like, yeah, I had to appear on defense of some guy, armed robbery. And, I'd been at the bar since 11 in the morning. So, I don't know if I made any sense to the judge. I hope I did. I don't think the guy got arrested, so I'm good. People are like, what the fuck? No. When you're drunk that you should not be drunk for that situation. And in a situation where you should not be drunk, where you're like, man, if I tell these people that I'm shit-faced. Same thing when you're high. But when you're high, you think every situation is like that. Even with your high friends. Even when you get high with people, when you're sitting around with other people that are high, you're like, oh, shit, man, I can't tell them that I'm high. Shit, they're going to figure out that I'm high. I can't be that high. I'm not the highest person here. It's got to be him. It's not me. It's not me, dude. No. Don't do that. You can't let them know that they're high. Shit, dude, shut up. Just shut up. You're not high. Shut up. You're not high. You can't let them know that you're the highest person here. But when you're drunk, you still kind of know that, like, okay, I know where I can be drunk and I know where I can't be drunk. So if I'm at the DMV hammered, I'm probably going to lie. I'm still going to lie. Even if you ask me, Lefty, and I'm like, ooh, what's up, baby? How you doing? Big stroker? Are you drunk right now? Fuck no, I'm not, man. Fucking just going to the DMV. The Department of Motor Vehicles. Gotta get my fucking license, dog. I'm not fucking drunk. Are you drunk? You sound drunk. Fucking asking me questions, giving me the third degree. Who the fuck are you, man? Fucking process my shit. Asking me if I'm drunk. This is fucking America. I'm not drunk. This is crazy. Why? I'm not showing up drunk. I am going to lie. Everybody who's drunk at the DMV is going to lie to that question. Asking them whether they are drunk isn't going to accomplish much. But apparently somebody somewhere said, you know what? This is a great idea. This is how we will establish that these people are in fact not drunk off their ass. And Hutch returned to YouTube. Everybody knows and everybody loves Hutch. One of the original reason that I got into YouTube. One of the big reasons. I watch Hutch videos. I'm like, man, I could do this. I think I have something to offer. I think I could be on that level. Perhaps not with the life experiences, but with just the soothing voice and that intellectual-ish approach or intellectual approach to things, rather than just, you see here, now I'm going to go into this corner using the MP5, blah, blah, blah. So Hutch has been known to take some breaks from YouTube, just ups and leaves from time to time. And he talked about it today where it's basically, and to my knowledge, he's never really explained it. Never really explained his extended absences. And today we got an explanation, or maybe it was yesterday, I think. It was yesterday. Yesterday we got an explanation for his extended absences, and basically it's compounding anxiety. That, for whatever reason, goes on a trip or something, takes 3 days off from YouTube. Well, then he thinks, shit, man, people are going to be upset with me that I took 3 days off of YouTube. I'm going to get so much hate. I'm just going to wait a little bit. Then it becomes a week. Then it becomes it compounds and it snowballs into, I don't know if I'm going to be accepted or run off the field or boot off the stage for having disappeared. And it appears, apparently, and this is, no fault of Hutch. This is not a, Hutch is a bad guy rant or anything like that. I love Hutch. Hutch was a good friend to me for a while back about a year and a half ago, I want to say. Apparently, he can do no wrong. Woody's Gamertag gets shit when he starts running one of the most successful Minecraft servers in existence, and he gets shit for, quote, abandoning his subscribers. Right, and it's endless. The hate, the needling, the vitriol, the venom is endless. It will never ever cease. idiot spouting, you abandoned me for Minecraft, blah, 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 will never, ever go away. That will never stop. Even if Woody comes back full time to YouTube, even if he's still working 12 hours a day being head admin or whatever for his Minecraft server, and then starts uploading Call of Duty commentaries and vlogs and stuff, people will still say, you abandoned us this time 6 months ago. You remember that? Hutch does it. Hutch, and at least with Woody, there was a transitioning period. There was a time where he was like streaming a lot. Well, he still streams a lot. But he was uploading a lot of Minecraft content, and he was talking about his server. You knew what he was doing. Hutch just ups and goes. Just fuck it, out, done. Peace off. Peace out. And people welcome him back. Again, nothing wrong. I love having Hutch in the community. It's great, but it's weird how that works. I want to know the difference. Maybe it's just demographic. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just Woody comes off as different from Hutch. Hutch just comes off as the everyman, the guy you'd like to have a beer with or smoke a joint with or whatever, the guy you'd like to hang with, whereas Woody is more, what's the word? I want to say professional sounding. The guy, Woody has an air about him, an air of professionalism about him, an air of authority, perhaps. Not sure. Trying to unpack that in my head. Let me know what you guys think. But, the same thing happens. Hutch and Woody do the same thing. Woody, endless hate no matter what. Hutch, welcome back, Hutch. Oh, my God, I fucking missed you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Now, maybe there is hate. Maybe there's a lot of hate for Hutch. I just don't see it. I don't know. But, a lot of people ask, for those of you that don't know, Hutch, myself, and Chiz, or Hutch, Chiz, and myself, used to do a podcast together. We when the Lefty show originally started, it was myself, then my girlfriend and I, Katie, and then Chiz, Katie, and I doing a show together. And we had Wings on as a guest once. I don't think we had any other guests on. One time, to this day, it was like 1 a.m. for me. So it was probably 11. Well, not probably. Hutch is on the West Coast, the left coast, the best coast, some say. It was later at night for Hutch. And I was talking about my podcast, and I think I tweeted him. He did a meta tweet about talking about things. And I think just as a joke, like, hey, why don't you come on the Lefty show to talk about this or that or something? I forget the actual catalyst. But to this day, I will not relinquish on the idea that he was fucking high when we talked. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being high or being under the influence of something. Absolutely fucking nothing wrong. If you're going to be all like butthurt about that or try to run to Hutch and be like, oh my God, fuck you. You're one of those types of assholes. Absolutely nothing wrong with being fucked up. Nothing wrong. Absolutely, everybody. I said it in a post about Redneck getting hate on the PK subreddit, and apparently brushed with alcoholism. Redneck did as a result of his father, I believe, battling cancer, and I wanted to tell people, like, look, man, you don't give people shit for that. You don't like, you're an alcoholic, fuck you. No, that's a deep, dark thing for people. Like, everybody, number one, everybody has affinity for cock. Everybody has affinity for cock, but also everybody has affinity or everybody has a way for dealing with demons. And sometimes it's just, some people it's working out, some people it's work. Other people get high, other people get drunk doing stuff. And they need that escape, whether it be alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, crack, meth, whatever. Some people just want to get high and forget about life for a while. And to denigrate people for that is I think a little bit shady. So this is not giving Hutch any shit, but I find it funny that I think I don't know if I took advantage of Hutch, because I think I may have talked him into appearing on the Lefty show, or coming onto and joining the cast of a podcast when he was high. And I always felt kind of bad. Like, oh man, I don't know. Was he fucked up? Like, did I do something bad? Like, I don't mean to like wait until you're high and then be like, hey man, let's talk business. That wasn't my intention. I just didn't know. Because there were and again, this is why this is a story, because Hutch, Chiz and I did a show, the Lefty Show, for about 13 episodes, and then we rebranded and it became what is now That's Not Why You Called. And Hutch, it was my understanding, and everybody asked why Hutch isn't on That's Not Why You Called anymore. Where did he go? What happened? And Chiz and I have always hinted at it, but I think, you know, if I can just speak plainly about it, and hopefully people understand that this isn't a shit on Hutch thing or a hate video or anything like that. This is just what happened as I see it. Hutch got high, and I'm just kidding. Hutch and I talked, and I said, like, hey, you know, like, it'd be cool if you're looking for a podcast. I've got this thing going. I'm doing it with Chiz, and we've been looking for a third host. We think that would really add to the dynamic, and I think you would be perfect for what we kind of do, because Chiz and I, we just had an air of just the show, not to be elitist about it, but we tried to be more of a show, a radio-like podcast, and talking about things outside of gaming while making jokes and while being informative and entertaining. And I said, look, I think you'd do well. I think we might really have something here. And so Hutch joined us for the Lefty Show, and I offered. I was the one that offered. Some people get it twisted and say Hutch made us rebrand. I was the one that said, look, Hutch, you know, I make no bones about you being the one that's pulling this train. You're the locomotive here. You're Hutch. And I will run the show and be, you know, try to be the driving force of the show. But in terms of marketing, you know, quote marketing, whatever, you're the big dog, right? And I didn't think, and I don't think to this day, I don't rethink my decision on that. It wouldn't be fair to have Hutch be the marketing locomotive and have it called the Lefty Show. It doesn't feel right to me. So I said, look, we'll rebrand and have it all done. And so we, you know, what should we call it? We made it a bit on the Lefty Show, and That's Not Why You Called was born. Now, getting the show rebranded took a little bit longer than I expected. And that was my fault. And Hutch was kind of aloof about making a commitment to the Lefty Show. And he said at one point, like, you know, well, look, I made a commitment to That's Not Why You Called, not necessarily the Lefty Show. And I said, you know, that's a very fair point. Okay. All right. So we rebrand That's Not Why You Called. And I think Hutch made 4 episodes of That's Not Why You Called. 4 of the first 10 or something like that. Maybe 3. Chiz has it down. And it was really odd because, you know, Hutch talked about in his most recent return video about anxiety. And I saw from the outside perspective what that's like, because all of a sudden, you know, I would make jokes, you know, purely jokes, trying to be comical about, you know, how Chiz and I have no idea about YouTube, and Hutch is the big dog, etc. And I would try to make jokes and just passing a little, okay, no. And apparently, Hutch didn't like that, which, okay, perfectly fine. And he said, one of the things he said was, you know, I want us to be all pretend that we're all on the same level, that we're all, you know, just bros hanging out, doing a show. And I said, okay, all right. But then, you know, it turned into, well, I couldn't get Hutch on the phone anymore. And Hutch was not making videos as often. And then all of a sudden, it was 15 minutes to air on the show. And I'm like, hey, you know, I haven't talked to you all day. You're going to be on the show. Or, you know, and it got to the point where it was like, we rebranded. This was supposed to be all us. And I think Hutch was going through one of those phases where it was just, anxiety breeds anxiety breeds anxiety, and he just didn't want to do anything, right? And whatever reason, he may have missed a show, and then he thought, oh man, they're going to hate me now because I missed a show, so I don't want to come back on this one, et cetera, et cetera. And all of a sudden, and then we just stopped talking, and it got to the point where, we just kind of have to, like, all right, I guess no more Hutch on the show. There was never any real clean break, I guess, or never any real communication on his future on the show. And it was just kind of the dichotomy of, okay, we're all supposed to be friends and bros here, and you don't want to highlight our differences in terms of stature in the YouTube game, and that's totally fine. But now, flash forward a couple weeks, and now I can't get you on the phone to do a show that I thought we had all agreed upon. And I thought that we had all jumped into the same boat and said, yeah, this will be fun. And I thought we would all do that. But apparently, I guess not. Apparently, that's not a part of broship. Or, as Hutch shed light on in his video, it might have been compounding anxiety. And, we all have anxiety. We've got social anxieties, and then sometimes we've just got crushing fears of things. Rational or irrational, it doesn't matter. When you have a crushing fear, when you have a fear like that born from anxiety, it rules all, right? I mean, the fact that Hutch said and made multiple commitments to Chiz and I that we were going to all be in this together, this was our show, and not just, Hutch coming in and being the big dog. He's like, no, we're all gonna be friends. At least that was my understanding. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I just misread it. But despite saying that, whatever the reality was, when there are fears like that or anxiety riddles you, it doesn't matter. What you said previously, no, does not matter. It will not matter. Commitments, relationships, whatever. When you are being controlled by some anxiety. Now, this is not native to Hutch. We all have it. And you have it. You listening to this have that kind of anxiety about something in your life. It may be a crushing social anxiety, or it may be constant anxiety about the unknown, about growing up, about something. You all have that in you, let's say. And I think what we were watching when we couldn't get Hutch on the phone, couldn't contact him about being on the show, once we officially started off, that's not why he called. I think what we were actually looking at was not Hutch being a prima donna, not Hutch rethinking his decision to be on a show with us. I think we were watching Hutch being overcome by anxiety. About what? I don't know. That's his own personal issues, none of my damn business. And I can understand that. While I don't necessarily look favorably upon how That's Not Why You Called started, with respect to, I thought it was going to be Hutch, Chiz, and I thought that's what it was going to be, and I was really excited, and I'm eternally grateful to Hutch for even giving me the chance. Hutch is the reason I appeared on C. Nanner's channel once. I thought I was decent. Not great, but decent. And Hutch, that's Hutch. That's all Hutch. Hutch was a great dude, really cool dude to hang out and talk with, to hang out and just discuss things with. He was an awesome guy. He when Katie and I were separated by 2,000 miles, something like that, 1,500, 2,000 miles. When I was in Chicago, she was in Florida. Hutch was a great sounding. Hutch was like, hey, man, you really need to, like, reminding me, like, no, dude, put everything aside, fly Katie up for a week, and fuck you two. Have fun. And I was like, what, thanks, man. That's really helpful. When I was getting bogged down by, I really like Katie or love Katie, and I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. And Hutch was like, no, here's what you got to do. And so Hutch is a really fantastic person, and very personable, very knowledgeable, and very willing to learn, and very laid back, and just the ultimate dude. The dude. Not bro. He's not a bro. He's a dude. The dude. He's like the dude. And, again, while I don't look favorably upon how that relationship, business and personal, with the dude kind of fizzled, I forget when it was. I think the beginning of 2013. While I don't look favorably upon it, now that I have this extra information, once you learn something about somebody, you have the way something is viewed. You view a situation one way, right? And let's keep talking about this. For me, it always looked as though Hutch just kind of got cold feet with respect to Chiz and I in the podcast. Like, oh man, these guys aren't what I thought they were. Either they're not good, which is true, or it wouldn't make sense from a business perspective to do this podcast with them and then game and record with them, which is something we had all talked about and I thought was not the deal, but just, we're going to be friends. Well, we're going to game and record, right? I thought that's one quick way to do it. But my way of looking at it was that's what happened. It was cold feet. Like, oh man, these guys suck. True. And they don't have the YouTube stature that I thought they did. Also true. And it just wouldn't work out. That's what I thought, but at least I wanted him to tell me. Like, just tell me that that's what it is. Don't leave it out there and drag it out. Just tell me, look, man, I thought you were bigger than you were. Whether I misplaced, I was off by an order of magnitude on your subscriber count when I looked at it willy-nilly, or I didn't know, you would be abrasive, or we would talk about these kinds of issues and I have to have a stance on all these hot button issues, and that's not really something I'm game for. Or, look, man, I don't really want to do YouTube things, a podcast, great, but not like gaming together and all that stuff. I don't think would fit, which is all perfectly fine. Just tell me, when you say, Lefty, you need to stop with the jokes, the wisecracks, and that's all they were. They were cracking wise. It wasn't meant to be passive-aggressive or belittling or anything like that. You need to stop cracking wise about our relative subscriber disparity because, we all need to be on the same level, and we're all, I want to act as though we're all friends on the same level. Okay, well, it would seem to me that friends on the same level, if they didn't want to work professionally or in the business sense with each other, it would say, like, hey, this isn't going to work. Here's why. Not just disappear and not talk to us and be intermittent, have intermittent contact and not really talk substantively about anything. And that's how it went with Hutch. And so for the longest time, I thought, oh, well, he just got cold feet, and then he just cut all ties, which, all right. I can't really publicly say that that's kind of shitty because, you're attacking Hutch. Or it would, even if I said, that's kind of shitty. It sucks. I wish it would have turned out differently, but it's kind of shitty. Even if I say it's kind of shitty, everybody's like, oh my God, you're attacking, oh my God, this hallowed YouTuber. No, I'm not attacking him. Like, I really like Hutch. I really do. It was the time that I spent doing the Lefty show and the few episodes of That's Not Why He Called and the few gaming sessions that he, Chiz, and I had were fucking fantastic. I fucking loved it. Loved every minute of it. Not the views. Not a shit given about the viewership. It's about finding somebody that is willing to willing to engage in discourse about anything, and just a person that truly does just, I call it like I see it, and that's what I do, and that's what I thought. That's what Chiz is. Why Chiz is a great friend of mine, and that's what Hutch turned out to be, and it was fucking awesome. And then to have it just kind of fizzle, well, it sucks. And if I think that it's just because you got cold feet and you didn't tell me, even though I'm supposed to stop cracking wise because we're supposed to all be friends. Well, one of these things is not like the other. Okay, well, damn it. All right, that's kind of awful. But now, this Hutch was very candid about his compounding anxiety, and I think I was like, oh, Now, I don't know. Again, I'm not a clinical psychologist. I just play one on YouTube. But when I hear the words of Hutch's video, standard gameplay commentary, stepping into a time machine back to 2011 or something. I'm sorry, I had to get in one little jab. When you hear how candid Hutch is and some of the things he says, or when I heard it, and then I say, okay, well, let's apply that to what happened let's apply that vis-a-vis the Lefty show / That's Not Why He Called / being part of a YouTube gaming crew together. And then bam, and then all the pieces fell into place, and it perfectly explains what happened. And that model of explaining what happened is much, much easier and explains a whole lot more, not just, how he acted with the Lefty show on the podcast, but also how he sometimes, pops. He's like a virtual particle. He just pops in and out of existence on YouTube from time to time. You don't know anywhere. He's everywhere, but he's nowhere. And sometimes you can actually find him here. Other times, I don't know, he's on Mars going 10 times the speed of light or something because fucking uncertainty principle is crazy. Anyway, that explains what happens. And I say, oh, okay. That doesn't change the past. I still wish it would have worked out better. But, all right, well, that explains what I observed a whole lot better than just all of a sudden Hutch thinking that I'm a gigantic loser out of nowhere, which, all right, it's a lot better. So Hutch is back. Welcome back to Hutch. But that's not why you call return. I don't know. It's probably still out of the question. But, that's everybody. A lot of people like to ask what happened with Hutch on the show. And again, like I said at the top of the topic, Chiz and I had talked about it somewhat tangentially. And we've kind of just, we tried to pull punches because in any way, in describing the situation, it would be almost impossible to not paint Hutch in a negative light. And that's just something we didn't want to do because, again, Chiz and I both really, really liked Hutch. And we hope the feelings were reciprocated. So welcome back to Hutch. And I hope he continues to make a lot of videos. And who knows, maybe he can be a guest spot on PK Plays or something more. We'll see. So welcome back to Hutch, and let's do a little news. Welcome to the news with Lefty. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. Lots of stuff. We're going to talk about the Taliban via the Washington Times. A special forces troop was exchanged, prisoner exchange with the Taliban. 5 guys released from Guantanamo Bay. Seattle raises the minimum wage to $15 a goddamn hour. Championing the poor, championing the unskilled. Finally, a living wage paid out, minimum living wage in Seattle. It's the news with Lefty. So now, this Sergeant Bergdahl, Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, I believe was a U.S. military sniper, and was captured after, so nobody really knows how he's captured. Some reports say he just walked off in the night. Was it shell shock, battle fatigue, post-traumatic stress disorder, or who knows, right? The guy walked off. Captured by the Taliban, was recently released as part of a prisoner exchange. 5 guys from Guantanamo Bay released to the Taliban in exchange for this Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. And many people are lauding this as, oh my God, no, truly no soldier left behind except for the dead ones. In Afghanistan or in Iraq, it's an amazing story. Finally, he's home. The U.S. will never forget this guy, and it's great, the commitment to the troops, etc. Some people are using it to try to roast the Obama administration, to say, what the fuck are you doing? I thought Taliban was the prime evil, right? The worst thing, 9/11, that whole fucking thing, right? Well, what are you doing dealing with them? What the fuck? Why are you dealing with terrorists? That puts a price. Now, they've got a price, the Taliban does, that you will bargain for. At some point, you will bargain you, the United States, will bargain with the release of suspected Taliban operatives. You will bargain for their release so that you can get whatever this thing is back. And it's a sergeant? Okay. This is not like the CIA station chief or something. Maybe he is. I don't know. No, they actually accidentally fucked up and showed who that guy was. And it wasn't Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. But here's the thing. It's great that Bo Bergdahl is back, his family. From a human interest standpoint, from an individual local standpoint, I'm sure that family is rejoicing, and as they should. It was probably not at all an easy life to live, knowing that your son, your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever, your father was being held captive in Afghanistan. Probably a hard life to live, and so it's good. It's nice to know that they get to have that party. They get to have that feeling of security that, this is no longer in limbo. But here's the thing. 5 Taliban operatives released from Guantanamo Bay in exchange for Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. I thought I was under the impression that the whole reason Guantanamo Bay existed, the whole reason that you opt for holding people indefinitely without access to attorneys and subjecting them to military tribunals and fucking torture, the whole reason you do that is because they are the baddest of the bad. They are really bad people who want to kill Americans, and they are better off being held and put in a hole than being charged with a crime and put on trial in federal court in New York or something. You know, I thought the deal was, or at least the supposed, here's our offering of the deal. These terrorist guys, these Taliban, Al-Qaeda, whatever, these guys are so bad. Like, look, I know everybody's all upset that we've kind of suspended the Constitution for these people, and we haven't captured them in a war zone. They're just foreign nationals because we haven't declared a war zone because we haven't fucking declared war. So yeah, we're just essentially capturing foreign nationals and transferring them to a military base and holding them without trial, not giving them access to attorneys, and subjecting them to waterboarding and military tribunals for punishment. And I thought the whole reason for that, the reasoning behind why that is acceptable, is because these are such bad people. We can't even think to allow them to have a chance to be released to the general public, to be released back to their handlers, to the Taliban in Afghanistan. We cannot let it happen. So that's why we're going to hold them here pretty much indefinitely. That's why we are not going to subject them to the prison population or the U.S. justice system. That's why it's going to happen. That's why it needs to be this way. Well, okay, so some lowly sergeant in the U.S. Army, a sergeant, gets captured, and 5 of these people, 5 of the baddest of the bad of the Guantanamo list, gone? What is that? Huh? Wait a minute. Wait. Again, happy that the Bergdahl was released back with his family. This is not a, military atrocities committed issue. This is I thought the whole reason that we as the American people, because Guantanamo Bay is us, everything done with a fucking American flag on it is us. It's each and every one of us. I thought the whole reason we were supposed to accept this version of us, that is Guantanamo Bay, and all the things that go on there, the reason we were supposed to accept it is because these people are so evil. These people wish to do us such harm that they need to be held indefinitely. They cannot have a term put on them, and they can't even be given a chance at release because they're just so bad. Trust us. We're the fucking United States government. Trust us. These people are so bad. We can't even really talk about them. We can't do it. But you release 5 of them? What? How bad are they? How bad could they possibly be if some sergeant in the U.S. Army unless he's fucking Edward Snowden Jr., how bad could they possibly be if you're willing to give up 5 of them? That's at least, that's 5, at the very worst, that's 5 suicide bombers. 5 suicide bombers is now equal to 1 U.S. sergeant. But I thought that the whole reason, the suspension of the Constitution and the whole look over the fact that we haven't actually declared war on anybody, we're not at war with Afghanistan, we're not at war with the Taliban, we haven't declared war, Congress has not acted in that capacity, but so essentially we're just kidnapping foreign nationals. Okay, we're supposed to accept that because these guys are so evil, right? Now you just release them. What? Huh? And also, the Taliban, you know, you're negotiating with the Taliban. And I don't care that they're terrorists. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. I don't care, right? They just don't like us. I get it. There's a lot of people that don't like us. Trust me, I work on the internet. I know there's going to be people that just don't fucking like you. I get it. But, you know, when you deal with somebody in this regard, and it's not just about, oh, you've dealt with terrorists now. There's blood on your hands now. No. We were supposed to not view the Taliban as being any kind of legitimate. But now when the U.S. government is organizing a prisoner exchange, you grant a whole lot of legitimacy to this group that you really don't like and that doesn't really like us and is vying for power in a lot of places in the world. You've now granted them such an air of legitimacy that was previously reserved for actual sovereign nations. The Taliban is not a sovereign, but now you're treating them like a sovereign. And the whole world is now seeing you treating them like a sovereign. So now what is that going to do for a guy that represents the Taliban in Syria? That represents the Taliban or in some war-torn nation where the Taliban is trying to get a foothold and perhaps become part of the ruling class in that region. If they're trying to consolidate power in some topsy-turvy Middle Eastern country or southern or southeastern European country, what is that going to do? That's going to boost the negotiating power of the guy that goes to the Muslim base there or the radical base and says, hey, yeah, did you see that prisoner exchange? Yeah, yeah, that was us. That was the Taliban. Go ahead, sign up. We've got that kind of stuff. It doesn't make any sense. So what you're telling me now, Barack Obama, United States government, what you're telling me is that, one, the Taliban is on par, at least diplomatically, with a sovereign nation because now you're negotiating prisoner exchange. And two, these guys held without trial indefinitely, subjected to waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay at a military base and military tribunals instead of a fucking trial, jury of their peers, charged with a crime, access to an attorney. It's the reason they don't get that is because they're so evil, but we'll give away 5 of them for a sergeant of some kind. How evil could they possibly be? How necessary because we can't subject them to the trial because they might one day get out or they might go free. So we're going to hold them indefinitely. But we're going to release 5 of them because we want to get a sergeant back. We're going to release 5 people that are so fucking evil they need to apparently be held indefinitely. Maybe we should just close the whole fucking thing down, try them all for whatever crimes with whatever evidence you have, and then see what the fuck happens. And if they win, if they get not guilty, here's a plane ticket, go home, we're sorry. Maybe we should give the Constitution of the United fucking States a chance. Maybe just give it a chance. Instead of, no. We can't allow that to happen. Now, I know Barack Obama isn't responsible for the starting of this rhetoric. I know he wasn't the one who originally thought it up. I know that. But he's allowing it to happen, which is the same as he is on par with the person who thought it up. He's letting it happen even after saying, I want to close Guantanamo Bay. Vote for me. Hope and change. Whoa. He said that fucking 6 years ago. Still hasn't happened. It's on par now with the guy who started it. Maybe just give it a chance. Give the justice system a chance. One thing, I think you'll probably learn it if you take a business class or maybe even a psychology class. When you're talking about dealing with people, now this is, again, micro level, individual level. When you're dealing with a person and you're trying to run a business, like let's say when you delegate authority, or more aptly put, when you delegate responsibility, your best bet to actually have that responsibility taken seriously is to delegate commensurate authority. If you are going to give the night manager of your store the responsibility of running the business, running a profitable business, you also have to give them the authority to do things in that name, to make sales, right? Imagine if, like, your business, you go home, you own a business, you go home at 5 o'clock, and your business is open till 9. So you got a manager that comes in, manages the store for 4 hours. But you say, all right, here's what you can sell. Here's what you can't sell. You can't sell this. You need to call me. You need to do this. You need to run all these things by me. You do not have the authority to act on your own. You have to run everything through me. Well, that person isn't really, well, then what the fuck do they care about the responsibility that you've given them? They're just going to turn everything over to you. Your work is going to be just that hard. If you really want to effectively delegate responsibility, you have to delegate the commensurate authority to execute or to rise up to that responsibility, to keep that responsibility. You have to. So we've got this whole big thing, the Constitution of the United States of America, our founding document, the whole idea of our specific brand of rule of law, and how we have decided, look, we think it's really important that individual citizens know how their government is likely to respond to their actions. It's not lawlessness. There are laws, but we believe we're going to place a premium on individual liberties, and we are going to say we think it's a really good idea that each individual citizen know how their government is going to react to what they do, which is why we tie so many things to individual rights. Why we have the Bill of Rights is because we know what the government can and cannot do to us. That's the whole idea. All right. And we developed this court system that's going to have these procedures, and here's why, and here's the theory behind all these things, even things that I can't explain and don't understand. There's a reason for all of it. So you've delegated the responsibility of governance to the judicial system primarily, and the idea of individual liberty and rule of law. That's what you, right? Because you could go any different way. You could go authoritarian or police state, which is what we kind of have now, or you can go the rule of law, individual liberty route. We chose that. We said, all right, we are going to delegate the responsibility of governance to that, all right? And we're going to try to give that the proper authority to do what it has to do. But what we've done in the last 20 years, the last 30 years, what we've done continually is chip away at that authority. The responsibility is still there, but the authority no longer is. We've got sentencing guidelines and mandated sentences. And we've got a police system in which if somebody even so much as alleges a certain crime, a certain type of crime, somebody's getting fucking arrested. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter if there's evidence or probable cause or anything. Somebody's getting fucking arrested. If somebody says this happened, somebody's getting arrested. We've got all these things that have continually chipped away at the authority of the idea of rule of law and, in general, the Constitution of the United States. And it's gotten to the point where the federal government says, yeah, you know that whole Constitution thing? Oh, yeah, it's a really great idea. Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? Yeah, I love the Constitution. I love me some Constitution. I know, right? Love the Constitution, too. We're going to have to go ahead and suspend that for a certain group of people. What? Yeah, it's just these fucking people, on the other side of the world. They're a problem. Okay, we'll declare war. Yeah, you see, declaring war on them would necessitate declaring war on a few different countries, and that might serve to destabilize the region. And, they're all connected by this religious thing, and if we declare war on one country that is primarily of that religion, other countries that are of that religion with whom we have more prosperous relationships, they may not like it. Well, then you've got to make a tough decision. Yeah, you see, I don't want to make that decision, though, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to suspend this whole, declaring war thing and the Fifth Amendment and the Fourth Amendment and all kinds of stuff. And we're just going to go in there. Now, trust me, we're only going to do it for them for now. We're only going to do it to them, but we really need to. We really need to do it. So declare war. You see, again, that might force us into some precarious positions. It's a lot easier to just kind of pretend that the Constitution doesn't exist. All right, so what are you going to do once you capture them? Well, are they going to stand trial? Trial's a funny thing because of our whole idea of a speedy public trial, jury of your peers thing. There's going to be a lot of people that have access to what these people have to say, and they may say some things that we don't want other people to know. Well, that's quite a predicament. Yeah, so which is why we're just going to kind of suspend their rights. Whatever rights they may have, well, I mean, they're not American citizens. Right, that makes it easier. No. I mean, what I mean is that, if our idea is the best idea, right? American democracy, best democracy, right? Rule of law, best way to govern. Yeah, fucking A, right. It is goddamn Constitution. Woohoo! Right, well, shouldn't we apply that to everybody, citizen or not? You see, we'd like to, and you can do that, with illegal immigrants and, I don't know, other people throughout the world. And we can say that, but these people are just real assholes. And we don't want to have to answer these tough questions, and, it's a lot of work. So if we just kind of pretend that the Constitution doesn't exist, we can all throw them in a military base without trial or access to an attorney and torture the shit out of them until they tell us stuff. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay, why? Because you might die because they're terrorists. Oh my God! Fear has been used in our society as a tool to slowly chip away, sometimes not so slowly, at the whole idea, the authority of the Constitution, that document, and the ideas behind it. Now we have a society where sometimes some people actually think it's okay to not declare war on people, grab foreign nationals, and hold them indefinitely without trial and waterboard them. Sometimes that's okay because, well, you might die. Oh, okay. I see how it is. And in the final news story today, Seattle raises the minimum wage to $15 an hour. A living wage, full-time employment at $15 an hour is 30. I know some people are, economic equilibrium, blah, 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 blah. Bullshit, because my equations say this. $15 an hour is a lot, right? Oh, my God, you're going to put somebody in business. Those people, you're flipping burgers. You shouldn't be making $15 an hour. Rah, 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 rah. Here's what you say. Here's what you say if you don't believe in it, and here's what you say if you do believe in it and want to flip anybody else who's all butthurt about it on their head. $15 an hour at 40 hours a week. Let's do the calculations right now. I will pull up this shit. I want to do it live on the air. $15 an hour. You work 40 hours a week. Let's say you work 51 weeks a year, only 1 week of vacation, right? That's $30,000, $30,600. You're going to pay, let's say, 25% in total tax because you're in the lowest tax bracket. Let's say it's 25%. $22,950 a year. Call it 23 grand take home a year. Try to live on that. Live on that. Pull out a budget living on $23,000 a year. $23,000 a year. Go ahead, try to live on it. Okay? Find a place, go research in your area, find apartments, whatever you can. Find a way to budget that out and live on it. And with each and every bullet point that you add, while you're going to have to give up cell phones, while you're going to have to give up health care, while you're going to have to give up this, that, or the other thing, every time you do that, ask yourself or implore people, the other people, to ask themselves this: would you want to live that life? Would you give that life to a family member? Would you give that life to a friend? Okay. Good job for Seattle. Seattle, minimum wage $15. It's probably a good starting point for the rest of America. $15 seems pretty good because $23,000, not a lot of money, man. It's pretty fucking low. A lot of people still going to be living just barely getting by, and I think that's what the minimum wage is supposed to be. The minimum wage is not supposed to be middle class. It's not the average wage. It's the minimum wage. It's the minimum livable wage. And I think $30,000 a year is pretty reasonable for a minimum living wage. The ability to live, not subsistence, living wage, a livable wage. You can live and you are not a missed payment away from absolute fucking disaster. It's a not completely tenuous and precarious existence. I think it's a good starting point. Seems pretty good for most places in America. All right, let's bring it home, shall we? I think we should. Yeah, the Lefty Show, episode number 28. Thank you to all for joining me. Thank you all for listening, liking, favoriting, and subscribing on YouTube. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that has been and will share this show with their friends, family, and coworkers. You help the show grow in a grassroots kind of way, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Thank you to everybody for donating. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. Every little bit helps. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. You want to help out the Lefty Show, studio costs, hosting costs, that kind of stuff. Go there. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. There is a link in the description. Thank you all for joining me. Welcome back to Hutch. Go Seattle. And fuck Gitmo, I think, are all things we can take away from the show today. More Lefty Show coming tomorrow. That's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Bye. Everybody has affinity for cock.